I've just noticed the recording turned on, so this is for my own use and the use as we move forward with the curriculum, just to get your feedback and capture that. So yes, just be mindful that the session will be recorded moving forward. Okay, so feel free to keep reviewing. This is in no way meant to rush you, but I have activated another poll question. So what is your first reaction and initial thoughts? So as you are going through, anything that jumps out, good, bad, indifferent, please feel free to comment. This will be a private response. I won't broadcast this and share this with everyone, so you can, be as candid as you want. I don't actually know who's saying what. I should have said that before. So if you want to be brutally honest, you can be brutally honest, and I won't know what's coming from you. um, so please feel free. And then I'll also, at the end of this, after we get through the poll questions, we can have a chat discussion slash live discussion as well for general feedback. So this is the first poll question. As you're reviewing and comparing the two, feel free to respond. So this is great. Thank you. Please keep the feedback coming in. It's really helpful. Oftentimes, as we're working to distinguish what should stay, what should go, what we should kind of tweak, what we should add. We have theories on what people want and what they don't want. We have some feedback, but more feedback is helpful. So some of the stuff I'm seeing come in is in line with our thinking, and some of it hasn't necessarily been brought up yet. So it's really, really helpful. I'll leave this open for a few more moments, and then I'll add the next poll question. Okay, so I've just activated a new poll question, and the next question is, what are the best parts that stand out? So what are you seeing that you really like? I've already gotten some feedback on that, but if you could put it here specifically, that way we can reference it easily. Do you like the extra detail? Are there certain exercises that you really like? This is your spot to put that. Okay, great. The feedback is coming in. I really appreciate it. This is good stuff. I know some of the exercises you may not know by name. Some of them are new, and we have some being created by other young people in recovery who are contributing to it. So if you don't recognize something specifically, just kind of roll with it. because you're not gonna know it, and that's fine. Some of the other exercises should be somewhat known if you're familiar with the field or if you've done clinical work at all, then some of them may look familiar, and others are recycled from the current Recovery Coach Academy. We've just made them a little more young person friendly. So I'm going to get ready to open the next poll question. If you haven't responded or you have more input here, I'll keep it open for just another moment longer. So the next poll question is, what are the parts you would want to take out? And if there's none, you can say none. If there's something that looks silly or just seems like too much, then you can put that down and you can specify why or not. That's absolutely up to you and fine either way. So I'm not seeing a lot of feedback come in for this one. I'm not sure if that's because you don't have anything you'd like to change or if you're working on a book. Fine, either is fine. But if it is none or nothing you want to change, just specify that if you could, so I know not to wait for some response. And then if you are writing just more than that, I will out for a few more minutes to see if something comes in. I've activated the next poll question, and that is there anything missing? So I've already had somebody send in a response identifying mandated reporter training. They didn't see that explicitly worded, so that was very helpful to have that feedback. If you see anything else that's missing that you think needs to be in there that isn't even in the original RCA that you think is really crucial for young people helping other young people, please make sure that's in there and it's worded that way. Okay, great. I'm already seeing responses come in. That's very helpful. So that was great. Thank you for the feedback on that. That was very helpful. I'm going to start the next poll question, which is what would you change, if anything? It might be kind of similar to one of the previous questions, but I've worded it a little differently to see if I could elicit some different responses. Now, this could be layout changes that you might make. This could be adding more to something, taking stuff away from others. It could be switching up the days. Maybe something should be online that's in person, and maybe something that's online should be in person. Those kind of feedbacks. Okay, great. Those are great responses. We're going to move on to the last poll question now. And it is a very general question. Do you have any additional thoughts? Anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to share privately first? Again, I don't know who's saying what, so you can be as candid as you want here. After this, I'm going to have a live discussion with all of us. Hopefully we can unmute our microphones and utilize the chat box at the bottom. But this is your chance to kind of share any extra thoughts that weren't covered anonymously. Okay, great. So I think I've gotten everyone to respond to that last question. I'm going to close that last poll down, but feel free at any point if you have additional feedback you want to give me. You can email me if something's come up. If you know of a worksheet or an activity or something that you think would be an asset to helping other young people learn to work with and coach other young people in recovery, please feel free to share that with me. If you have personal experience training the current Recovery Coach Academy and you know some things that are just wonderful you'd love to see kept, and that you might have some ideas on how you could change it slightly so it'd be more appropriate for younger audiences, or if you know pieces that just don't seem to work or fit very well, please feel free to share that. I am going to ask you all now to either unmute your microphone, utilize the chat box if you're having issues. And first, I want to ask a very specific question. From your experience, everybody on this call is a person in recovery, however they define their recovery. And you're all young people, young in my book. So young people in recovery, and you've entered recovery at a young age. What were some of the most useful and helpful things in that early recovery process for you? Was it other people? Was it a specific person? Was it a certain kind of group and activity? So I'm gonna mute my microphone and ask anybody if you'd like to share some of the really helpful pieces that helped you that we might be able to find a way to add into this curriculum.
I think for me, I really kind of like surrounded myself with the recovery community through like halfway houses and members at meetings. So kind of just having like that foundation under me of other people in recovery. Because when I came in, I wasn't very talkative and I was very shy, and just being around people that would talk to me and stuff like that was, I think, most influential. Like developing relationships with other people in recovery.
That's great. That's great, Pat. And I might ask you in a moment to drill that out a little bit further and give me some ideas maybe on how to start that or engage with that or initiate that process of becoming connected for especially young people like yourself who were shy. And I know for me as well, who had a hard time even going to those places, let alone opening up. So maybe something to ruminate on and provide feedback when you can.
Okay.
Hi everyone, it's Eric. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay,
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think early on what was really helpful, in addition to having the 12-step support, was having a separate individual who worked at the rehab that I went to, who was a recovery coach, and he helped with like basic life skills, like things I had never learned how to do. Like I didn't know how to participate in things like school. Like I didn't know how to go get a job. Like I didn't know how to have like a gym membership and like pay the monthly fees. Like I didn't know all these like little basic things. And so having that support system in place really allowed me to start learning how to do like basic life skills, like what to have in my kitchen when I have my own apartment, like things I just didn't know. So I I think that, and then in addition to that, the last thing I would add is like how to socialize and how to be like a person in recovery and just be another person in the world and still be able to socialize and be in my early 20s and like go around and do normal things. That was very important to me.
Great feedback. I just sent you a message, Eric. It would be helpful if you could, if you, when you have some time between the bar and stuff, to compile maybe a list of some of those life skills. That's a great point. I think a lot of us can relate to that. Just learning how to live and some of the things that we didn't really have to be responsible for prior to recovery. Else wants to unmute? Megan, I know you provided some feedback in the chat box, but if you want to share, or Tom, if you're able to try to share, feel. Okay, so Megan says nature's outdoor fitness, learning how to have healthy relationships. So I'm hearing that a few times already. Okay, so that's very helpful. I've heard life skills and relationships quite a few times, not just on this in this group, but in other feedback that we've received. So we'll be looking to try to add that or incorporate that somehow within the process. If you have any feedback, again, any exercises that you've gone through or suggestions, please feel free to send that to me. We have a great network so far of what we're calling subject matter experts. So you are all subject matter experts, being people who entered in recovery at a younger age and have been able to maintain your pathway of recovery. We are utilizing these subject matter experts to really build this training. So if you have any ideas, thoughts, feedback that you want to send along the way, please feel free to email me, text me, call me, whatever at any time. I'm also going to ask, I'll send out a follow-up email, but I would love, love, love if you could put together a brief bio about yourself, very brief, There's going to be a section, I think, in the manual where we're going to try to give credit to those people who have contributed to this, yourselves included. So I would love a brief bio. It may end up getting cut down to just your name and maybe age when you entered recovery, or it could be much more than that. It depends on the layout of the manual. And I would also love for you to share some sort of quotes. If you were to be quoted at some point within the manual, let's say, for example, recovery is challenging initially, but it's worth the struggle, Courtney Lavelle, something like that. It could be something very specific about recovery, recovery coaching, medication assisted recovery, access to supports, something as young people, something from your experience. Or it could be something very general. But if you have anything that comes to mind that you'd like to be quoted for, please share that with me, because we're going to be utilizing throughout the PowerPoint presentation quotes from young people in recovery to kind of make it real and more authentic and also inspirational to those going through the training. So before we wrap up, we're almost on the hour. I would like to just open up. Does anyone have any questions? So I'll take silence as an absolutely no. We're ready to go. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving me your lunch hour. I hope you have a few minutes to get out and get some sunshine. And I look forward to connecting with you all again in other ways and through email. Please, again, feel free, reach out to me if you have any thoughts after this, if you have any more feedback or any suggestions. I am eager to hear them. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thanks, Pat.